Good evening, guys. Welcome to another step back session on the Arsenal Huddle. You know how it all works on a Sunday. We just get the weekend out of the way and we look forward to the week ahead. And we just sit here, we just chill. You get a little drink, whatever you're doing, tea, coffee, whatever you're doing, whatever you fancy doing. And we just have a little chat about what's gone on. And loads went on the weekend. And I am pleased at last. We have Aaron Talks Arsenal is in the house. And chat, what can I say? Absolute elite. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've got Jambo in, Gavin L's in, the Lynch is in as well, Kawaji's in, all the usuals are in. So welcome to every single one of you. I hope you're enjoying your bank holiday. And what can I say? Aaron, how you doing, brother? I bumped into you yesterday. We was all full of the joys of whatever. And how you doing, Aaron?
Yeah, no, it's good, wasn't it? Obviously going back to the Emirates for the first time, and I had to ring you, didn't I? And I was like, look, I need to pop round and say hello. Said hello to you and the boys, wasn't it? I had a nice little squeeze. Do you know what I mean? Hello, D. How you doing, mate? Do you know what I mean? And in the end, the boys delivered on the pitch and all, but we'll get to that. Obviously, we'll get to that in a little bit. But no, it was good. It was good yesterday, and of course, yeah, good to say hello to my brother DJB as well. Do you know what I mean? Only takes me 30, 40 seconds to nip round to you and say hello, so always worth it, my friend.
Yeah, it was nice to see some faces. I bumped into Kenny Ken and Potsy and that, and yeah, it was nice, mate. It's always a pleasure to jump into people and then sort of see the same faces that you see sort of week in, week out there sitting around you, and they had the feel good factor. Getting onto that feel good factor, Aaron. What did you make at the start, like getting Eze out and everything else? How did you think? Because I done a stream yesterday, and they were sort of saying what was the feeling like, and do you think it kind of set the tone for the game that was coming up, or what did you make of all the atmosphere before the game with the Eze thing and everything, mate?
Well, I mean, look, I thought it was all right. Do you know what I mean? I think everyone knew because it come up on the tellies, didn't it, in the concourse? What was it? Something like, "Oh, take your seats for an announcement."
Take
Or
your
something like
seats. Interrupted us, mate, didn't it? Me and you. We was in
yeah,
conversation.
We all knew what it was going to be. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind it. Do you know what I mean? But it was no real surprise, was it? You weren't taking your seat and thinking, "Oh, I wonder what they've got up their sleeve." We all knew that Eze was going to walk out on the pitch. But look, do you know what I mean? I'm glad. I'm glad it was that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not. It makes no odds to me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really one of them, for the theatrical to watch it. Do you know
no,
what I mean? I don't
no.
care if I was to see it on Sky Sports or in Walk on the Pitch. I'd have rather they registered him in time so he can walk out and start on the pitch. That's what I'd have preferred.
Yeah,
To be fair, I'd have rather they've got that 12 o'clock deadline in and he was on the starting lineup. That's when I wanted to see him on the pitch.
100%.
But I'm sort of obviously happy with the signing. But yeah, all that sort of start of the theatre, do you know what I mean? I could get why it would probably to the majority, the going fan, probably would G him up a little bit or give him that little bit of extra. So I can see why they done it. But yeah, I was just more sort of like, well, I'd rather you in the lineup, my old boy. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Rather than pissing around on the pitch for a couple of minutes and waving
Yeah.
your hand. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean? I'd rather
yeah.
you do something with your feet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But look, do you know what I mean? If it just sort of G's up the crowd a little bit more, do you know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, just having him here, I think it's a really good signing. To be fair, I think even though I want a left winger still, I think if he was to play left wing, it's still an improvement on what we've got. If he was to play as a left 8, it gives us a lot of options throughout the season. It's obviously going to be all down, though, D, to whether the manager will actually do this or not. And that's always
Exactly.
going to be the big question with a lot of things that we do going forward. It's very
Exactly.
easy for sort of me to say, if you're playing a team at home, you're going to dominate. It's nice to be able to, instead of playing a Rice and a Zuba-Mendy, and you've got sort of 2 defensive midfielders in a 3, alongside an Odegaard, who isn't really that attackive anyway. Let's face it, he's not. He just likes to knit things together side and side. Whereas at least with an Eze, you can actually have 2 attacking number 8, can't you? As such. So, like, for argument's sake, you play a Crystal Palace at home, or even a Nottingham Forest at home. Let's
Yeah,
just in
yeah,
a couple of games, you can sort of have a Rice holding there, and you can
yeah,
have an Odegaard and an Eze should Odegaard be fit. You can have them 2 sort of attacking 8s rather than just to have the 2 defensive
yeah.
ones. Don't always need to, and that's
No,
that's been Arsenal's problem. You
yeah,
know, if you have like a Gyökeres now up front and Saka or not, I don't know. We'll get into that, I'm sure, as well. And then also, on your left hand side, you have big up, big up, big up to Lee, of course,
yeah.
always.
Big up, Lee.
El
Thanks for the
Capitan,
raid, as
El
always, brother.
Capitan.
Make sure you smash the likes and sub to these channels as well, guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go on, Aaron.
But yeah, it does give you that option. If you're gonna have a Madueke running off, whatever, or a Martinelli, and a Sakaras right winger if he's fit, and someone up top, you want them players feeding him. So you've got more of a chance, Sleepy Lee Raid. You've got more of a chance being able to find these players with more creativity on the field, which is why I think having an Eze as a left 8 and as a chance with an Odegaard does give you that little bit more. And then having 3 runners running off of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think if you used to play him as a number 10, that's a massive upgrade on Odegaard. So I'm
massive.
quite sort of happy with sort of having him in there. But in terms of like your squad, I think we still need that proper left winger. And what
Yeah,
what I do hope, D,
100%.
is that we don't see big transfers like a Lookman or a Rodrigo who
Mm,
would have sat there and slotted in nicely as a left
mm,
because we signed Madueke. I don't want
yeah,
us to sit there and go, do you know what I mean? We couldn't afford him because we've got 50 millions worth of Madueke in there when these
mm,
players are going for 50s themselves,
mm.
It'd be a bit of an interesting one. But as a whole, yeah, look, the Eze signing solid. I just don't want him to be that left winger. I don't. I want us to get another left winger. Go out there and just give us one more signing just before this window shuts in 7 or so days. One more. Be that cherry on top of the cake. Do you know what I mean? Cherry on top
Yeah,
of the
no,
icing.
I mate, honestly, spitting facts, Aaron, again, and you said it. You said all what I've said. Why can't we? Why can't we integrate Eze and Odegaard together? Why can't we play with that just holding midfield player and let them go and do
Yeah.
their thing? Bit like Wanyeri and Damon when they came on in the second half. Make things happen. You could get that off of Eze and Odegaard, can't you? And the creative, and then you got Gyökeres spinning into the channels, and he's going to get the ball to
Yep.
feet and a lot of things are going to happen from there. So I agree with you. There are games when we just don't need that defensive midfield trio.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying, take Zubamendi out the frame because he deserves to be out the frame. I'm just saying it's an option that we can have now with Eze. I'm a little bit like you, Aaron. I think it's an upgrade if he does play left wing, but having said that, I don't think left wing is his position. I don't really. He's not the sort of player that we have brought in to play left wing, and that's why for me it's still important for we go and get a left winger. The only trouble is, Aaron, and you've touched on this loads of times, and I know you're quite passionate about it, my friend, and spit facts about it. You're just a bit concerned about there's not a lot of outgoings, and you find it frustrating that we've not made the outgoings, aren't you? You know what I mean? You spoke about it on your channel and you spoke about it in streams and that. Why ain't what is the problem? Why ain't we get? Is it just the wages? Is it? Why is it that we're not getting these outgoings, my friend? Oh, he's frozen up. Aaron's frozen up there. Chat. Aaron's frozen up. He's gone. Yeah, I was just saying. I was just going to say to Aaron about the outgoings and chat. It's one of these things that I'm finding a little bit frustrating because if we're going to have a left winger coming in, then we've got to make these outgoings, guys. We've got to make these outgoings. Don't know what happened there, mate. I think we got mutant. But before I repeat what I was going to ask you, Aaron, let's have a little look. Lawrence is in the building. What do you make of Egal slagging off Paul Merson the other day? All this guy does is take pops at legends at the club and his own agendas. Do you know what? I don't give him the freedom and the airtime, Lawrence. I don't comment on it when he goes and when he talks all this nonsense and that. I don't make a big fuss out of it, because the more you do, the more people's going to follow him, the more people are going to subscribe to him, and the bigger his audience and the bigger crap he can talk. Listen, I've got my own views of Regal. When he's on streams with me, fair enough. But I mean, slagging off legends and stuff like that, I don't give him the platform. I don't know about you, Aaron. I don't really particularly give him the platform, my friend.
Yeah, no, it was that we're talking about a gal. Sorry, I
Regal,
don't know
yeah.
whether something's jumpy on mine. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I was speaking to Shane very briefly. Well, I was actually speaking to him for quite a while, but very briefly on big up to Shane.
Big up, Shane.
About
Make
him,
sure.
and yeah, I think Shane's doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Not give him the platform, and I think I might adopt the same. The geezer's an absolute pleb, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is a pleb. And
It's tiring, man, isn't it? It's tiring,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Look, the thing is I'm all up for people having a difference of opinion, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's football at the end of the day. You're gonna have it, and it's healthy to have a different opinion. But when the opinion is completely that of not your own, it's just an agenda-driven opinion for something. It is pointless, because I'd like to sort of think that when we're talking to a top gooner and we're spitting our facts, which we do,
Yeah.
I know some of what we say is, an opinion, but I'd say it was a very realistic opinion and most likely based on facts as well. So when I think we talk, I don't think we talk rubbish. People just don't
Mm.
like to hear the way we deliver it a lot of the time. Um, and there's no getting through to someone like a gal. You will never, ever, ever, big up Taron, brother.
Big up,
You
Sam.
will never get him go, oh yeah, do you know what? To be honest with you there, Aaron, to be honest with you, DJB, to be honest with you, Taron, to be honest with you, Shane, you've actually got a really good point there. I didn't really look at it that way. Yeah, that's a good point. You'll never get that. You'll just get the double down other version of it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And then that sort of gets me to the point where you think, well, I'm absolutely well and truly 150% wasting my oxygen talking to this guy, because no matter what you say, you're never going to get through, because there's always that driven agenda of nonsense that comes out of his bastard of a mouth. So it is just pointless, isn't it? So yeah, I totally get the stance of just boycotting the geezer, because
Mm.
it's a fraudulent opinion.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of time, isn't it? It is just a
Yeah,
waste of absolute
you're
time.
going round in circles, my friend. You're going round in
Yeah,
circles. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
I think the thing is with us, and big up, Taron, my friend. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, sir.
Um, I know you said you haven't got long, but thank you for joining me. Make sure you sub to these legends. Aaron talks Arsenal, and it's all in there, guys. Make sure you sub into these fellas. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when our facts are based on what we see. We look with our eyes, and it's what we see, and it's just how we come across, and we all come across different. You'll come across different to how I come across. Taron will come across different. Shane obviously comes across different than Lee and Matty. We all come across different, but the same thing is we've got concerns about the football club. We've got concerns about is this manager going to deliver? But if things look okay and there are certain things, we hold our hands up. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair comment. We hold our hands up, and sometimes we get it wrong. But there seems to be a group of fans out there that just don't matter what it is, they're not going to be moved, and I think that's sad. So, yeah, I mean, on that, as I said, it just when legends are getting pulled over the tiles and all that, I just don't give it the airtime. To be honest, I don't give it the airtime. But anyway, Taron, welcome to the chat, my friend, and the panel. What did you make of yesterday's performance, brother? I mean, first of all, we touched on the Eze thing. How did you think all that went at the start of the game? Are you pleased you got Eze in?
Yeah.
What role can you see him playing at the club? Is he going to play permanently on the left? Is he going to? I mean, me and Aaron was just saying, why don't we take away one of the defensive midfield players and have Odegaard and have one sit in and just have Odegaard and Eze, running amok and just trying to create things. What we saying, Taryn?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. Big up, Aaron. Big up to you, man. Hope you are well. Big up to the legendary chat. If I may just touch on the thing you were just talking about with the top gooners and how they move the goalposts. I think when I think of it, you know what it is for me? Like if this chat, right? We have 111 people in here. Talking to them is literally like putting a poll or putting something in the chat and say the last comment wins.
Yeah.
Last comment wins, and just it will never end.
Exactly.
It will not stop with them. But as far as the game goes yesterday and the Eze thing, what I saw a young man who achieved this childhood dream, and it was beautiful. It was a wholesome moment. He almost paused when he walked out and took it all in. Like, is this real? Am I an Arsenal player? The number 10 shirt, my back, the stadium, the euphoria. It was great. As far as him being in the squad next week or starting, like he has to. There's no way he can't start. And the thing is, for me, I left. That's the sticking point in the fan base now. Should he start 10? Should he start left? I don't know how I feel about it, because if he's starting left, that means that Ethan is our starting 10, which I'm okay with. I'm comfortable. I'm perfectly fine with that. Is it too much to throw him in his first start away at Anfield? I don't think so. The boy spent the entire Premier League campaign last year proving that he belonged in the Premier League. So I think, but if Eze is out left or Eze is in the 10, it's a good thing for me. But another talking point that I'd like to make is we're going to Anfield next week, and right now, Onslaught, what he does know for one thing for sure is that the front three is not Saka, Martinelli, Havertz. He has no idea what the front three is going to be. So how does he train? What does he prepare for? Is it going to be Martinelli on the left, Madueke on the right, because he looked better on the right than he was on the left? Or is he going to play Trossard? He had a pretty decent cameo. Or is he going to play Eze left, Ethan in the 10, Madueke on the right? So it gives him an advantage. I think the fact that we are going to Anfield and we've lost our captain and we've lost the star boy and we still aren't panicking is a good thing for me. That means we've had quality in the squad now, which further removes any excuses for 3 points, because we haven't lost there in 3 years, but we haven't won there in like 13. Something has to give. Like we've picked up a point there the past 3 seasons, and that hasn't been good enough. So I'm really, really looking forward to us going there, setting up, trying to get 3 points versus setting up, trying not to lose.
Yeah, no. Honestly, we've got to go Anfield with a positive outcome, with a positive mind, and as you said, he can't pick his team. He's going to have to wait. I mean, this came up tonight, didn't it? Arsenal and Saka, Odegaard injury boost. Apparently, it says Arsenal have been given a boost after scans on Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard suggested that neither have suffered long-term injuries, despite both being substituted early in the Gunners' 5-0 win over Leeds United. Captain Odegaard was withdrawn in the first half with a shoulder injury. I think that was pretty tame, to be honest. I don't think there was a lot in that shoulder injury, if I'm perfectly honest with you. For me, there wasn't a lot in that shoulder injury. He might have tweaked it, might have nudged it, but feeling a little bit sore. But I think he'll be back for the Liverpool game. The one that was worrying me, Aaron, was Saka. He looked a little bit sharper than he did against Man United. When he went on that mazy run and he pulled up, I don't know about you, but where I was sitting, I just buried my face. I just went,
Yeah.
Look, told you so. I just said to myself, we've been telling you. I thought it was the worst, man. I thought his hamstring had gone again. So this is a bit of good news. This is a bit of good news about Saka. However, it says it's not long term. That doesn't mean to say that he might not be fit for next week. What we saying, Aaron?
What I did want to do as well before I answer the Saka thing is I want to jump back into the Eze and the Anfield game.
Yeah, go on, man.
Just very quickly.
Yeah.
Because I think if Odegaard is fit for the Liverpool game, I definitely can't see not only Eze not starting, but if we're drawing or holding on to a 1-0 lead, he probably might not even get on the field. And the reason I say that is because I reckon, and this is not what I want, this is what I think Arteta will do. Assuming that Odegaard's fit, I reckon he's definitely going to keep a defensive 3. So that means we'll 100% see a midfield of Declan Rice, Zubimendi and Odegaard. I can't see him playing another attacking thing there purely because of the magnitude of the game, the fact that we're away,
Yeah.
and the fact that they've obviously got such a penetrative attack. I can't see him playing him left wing as purely because he'll probably put Martinelli in there for the legs, because he knows that he's gonna want a lot of tracking back from his wingers. And I just don't think Eze will be that guy. I can see him playing Martinelli there purely for the defensive output in
For the
terms
defensive
of
duties,
running
that's a good point, mate.
that he'll do. So,
Yeah.
you know, assuming obviously like if Saka isn't fit, you know, we'll probably play Madueke on there on the right. I can just sort of see him going defensively minded, which I don't disagree with, by the way. I can appreciate that. You know, if it was at home, maybe a little bit different, but because it's away, because I think, you know, you've got the 3 points against Manchester United, you've got the 3 points against Leeds. If you go to Anfield and you get a draw to start the season off with 7 points, considering the fixtures, I don't actually think it's a bad outlay. I mean, I think everyone on this panel, and I think probably most, if not all of the chat, if you said, look, 7 points in your opening 3 games, 2 of them being away at Manchester United and away at Liverpool, would you take that? I think that'd be a fair return.
Oh, massively.
So I would take a draw. Obviously, you want more. Let's not get it right.
Yeah.
Of course, you want more. Of course, I'd love there to go Liverpool and, you know, put in a real great performance and we nicked it, or we were all over them and done them 2-0. Of course, I'd like that. But I can just sort of see Mikel Arteta being a bit conservative in that game, and I can just sort of see Eze being a bit of the fall guy there. If we're 1-0 down, maybe I can see him coming on. But I just sort of think he's going to play that defensive. He's going to want his wingers really tracking back in that game, especially that left-hand winger, bearing in mind. You've got the Calafiori, who, by the way, has started the season okay, but he hasn't been tested like a Salah will test him. He hasn't been tested. So you know, Calafiori could easily, he could have his little seasonal wake-up call there. And you know, Declan Rice obviously on that left-hand side, he'll be doing a workhorse just like he does every single game he plays. I can just see him wanting to have that protection of a Martinelli who knows that he will completely cover and track back that sort of side. To be fair, on that left back, I was saying this to Shane earlier, I would actually, if both fit, put Timber there at left back for that extra reassurance with Ben White on the right-hand side, just to stop Calafiori being susceptible to Salah being, you know, Salah doing Salah things. That's what I would personally do. I don't think Mikel Arteta will do that, even though we've seen him do that with Calafiori. So he's got something in his locker there.
Yeah.
I just think he's gonna want proper legs there, and I think it might be a little bit. It might not be the game for an Eze, but we don't know. You know, we don't know. But what it probably won't be a game for is Bukayo Saka. You know, let's sort of get that right. Sadly, I think it will come a little bit too soon. If it is something wrong with his hamstring, you know, and it isn't as bad as we first thought, fantastic. You know, he's obviously picked up some form of injury. So now it's just damage limitation, and it's just damage limitation. Yeah. What is it? Is it? Are we looking at a 2 to 3 weeker? Or are we looking at a 4 to 6 weeker?
Well, it says, I mean, this don't give you too much. It just says that they've had the scans and it's not as serious. It's not a serious injury that's going to keep him out long term. However, that doesn't say that he could be out for sort of 2 or 3 weeks. He could have tweaked a hamstring. Could feel a bit tight. He could have had a little bit of a problem with his original injury that he's feeling. So I will be very, very surprised if Saka rolls out against Liverpool.
If he does that,
I'll be shocked if he rolls out against Liverpool.
Surely he can't. Surely you're going into an international break. Sit the boy down. You going in like so, Aaron. With that Timber at left back shot, do you think he would do that and play Mascara at right back?
I think if Ben White is if Ben White's fit, I think that's where he'll sort of put Ben White at right back, which I'd be quite happy with. Obviously, then the sort of point where I was getting at when I was saying this to Shane earlier is I would much rather Gakpo v Ben White and Salah versus Timber rather than Gakpo versus Timber and Salah versus Calafiori. You know, that's sort of my sort of way of thinking now. Then we've seen Timber at left back. I know he's better at right back, but Timber at left back is a lot better than Calafiori at left back, especially given the threat I would be a lot more comfortable. Honestly, a lot more comfortable seeing Salah running at Timber than Salah running at Calafiori, regardless of the start that he's had. Regardless of the start Calafiori's had, he hasn't faced a winger like Salah yet.
And we've seen him done that before. I've seen him. We've seen him put. I think he put Tommy Yasu at right back one year, and Ben White at Tommy Yasu at left back. So when Salah cut in, he was Tommy Yasu.
He locked him up.
Yeah,
he locked him up.
He did lock him up that game, and
he had a fantastic game.
Yeah, that's a fair shot, but I just don't think. I don't think Odegaard in the midfield with his injury or coming back from injury, whatever it is, gives us the best chance to win at Anfield. We have to show something different. They've played against Odegaard at Anfield before. The pace of the game changed when Ethan came on because Ethan is very direct, very aggressive. I don't know if it's because of the captain armband where he feels like he needs to get everyone involved, make an extra pass and make the safe pass all the time. But the game changed. We went up a gear when Ethan came on. Even the people who love Arteta said this to me. Like, we noticed there was a noticeable change when he went off and Ethan came on. And I'll give Arteta credit for this. He could have brought Moreno in there for control and try to shore up the midfielder. He went directly to Ethan right away. So I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but I did like Ethan coming on and having an effect on the game right away.
Yeah, but look, I reckon there was a direct correlation between Arsenal playing better and bringing the younger talent and Odegaard going off. I reckon you're absolutely right in that assessment, to be fair, because it just did happen. I remember sitting there and watching and seeing the young lads coming on, obviously, especially Ethan. And I agree with you as well. I was quite sort of surprised being, what were we, maybe 2-0 up? Was it 3-0? Either way, the game was sort of finished, regardless. I can't think the exact scoreline when they came on. So you'll have to bear with us there. But I just thought, was he going to bring on like a Marino or bring on basically a shut-up shop sort of player? And he didn't. He brought on Ethan directly straight away. And I thought, fair dues. But we thought that, and your initial thought is he's going to bring on like a Marino or a defensive player. Why? Because we've seen him do that for the last 18 months.
Exactly.
That's the only reason why we get that is because that's what we've seen before. That's what we used to. So I mean, look, props to the geezer for bringing on an Ethan Nwaneri and Arsenal went up a gear. And do you know what as well? Look, it's not as if Ethan come on and tore the place up, but he excites you, doesn't he? I remember sat in my seat a little bit, especially after being 2 or so nil up. The first half was a little boring, but
it's like Christmas Eve going to bed, isn't it?
As soon as the kids come on, and Max Dowman was on with him, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, that little extra edge to the game comes on. It comes back alive. Do you know what I mean? So all of a sudden, you're sat there and you're thinking, "Come on, boy!" You know what I mean? When Ethan gets the ball, and especially when Max Dowman gets the ball, I remember sat in my seat. I was like, "Come on, boy, do something! Come on!" Because you're getting a little bit excited because you want him to do well, Whereas with Odegaard, it's just, he's going to get the ball and he's probably going to do a safe pass to the left, or he's going to hold on to it for 2 or 3 seconds too long, and make a pass. Yeah, exactly right. So it's so with Odegaard. Do you know what I mean? But when these young kids come on the ball, that you're not just get that little bit of excited. You want them to do stuff, and they're doing it. They are producing. Max Dowman came on and he looked fantastic. And Ethan Nwaneri, he always wants to try and cut in. He's not afraid to have a little shot. Same with Max. It's just something new in it. They bring that little bit of unpredictability to the side as well. Whereas Odegaard is very predictable, probably the most predictable midfielder in the league. I think that's fair to say, especially if you're looking at going forward. You know what he's going to do. Exactly right. So these kids come on and they made a big difference.
Nice facts, mate. And another thing that you led me nicely in there, Aaron, is did you notice as well that when the youngsters came on and Dowman was hugging that right wing and Taran, did you notice that we started to hit diagonals? We hit a couple. I think Rice pinged out one, didn't he? A diagonal, and it sort of opened the game up. And suddenly it wasn't like the little sort of 5-6 yard passes. Suddenly the ball got pinged long, and we don't normally do that. And he gave us that option, didn't he? We started to hit the longer balls, and things were happening. And all right, there was a couple of times he tried to take on his man, and he but. What I like about Max Dowman and Ethan Nwaneri, their first thought is to drive forward. How can I get forward? How can I beat the man? How can I get to the byline? How can I cut inside? Can I get a shot away? All these things are going all the time. And I just think it's exciting. And for me, I take pelters for this, and I've spoken to a few people as well. I just think if you're good enough and you're young enough, I think if you're good enough, then play. You know, all this about, oh yeah, but he's too young, you don't want to. But and I get that, I get it, and I know you have to manage the young players properly, and I know you can't flog them if you like, or overplay them. But at the end of the day, we need trophies, guys. And if Max Dowman is going to come in and deliver stuff, and we're going to win trophies from it, I'm going to be a bit selfish here. I don't care if he's 15, 16 or whatever. If he's going to come in and make an impact and win us games and win us trophies and make a difference, I'm all for him playing. How are you feeling on the Max, Taron? I mean,
yeah, I love it. I think he's won us a penalty every time he's came on the pitch. He wins pens, but that's what happens when you are direct and you run at your winger. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fantastic. The thing is, for me, like I'll worry that that we'll be letting Liverpool off the hook, so to speak, if we play it safe. I think it's a very good time to go to Anfield when they don't have an established right back, because I think Frimpong is out. You know, I think Frimpong is out. I don't know who they're gonna. I seen Curtis Jones just a blood shots back there. I just don't want us to go there and play it too safe. But back to Max. Ethan spent the entire year last year proving that he belonged. Max hasn't put a foot wrong really since he burst onto the scene. And he's 15. Brother, you have another 15 years to correct the mistakes that you make right now. You know, you let him loose. Part of him being so young, he's fearless.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, he's fearless. And, you know, it's a joy to watch him play. A player that's fearless, direct, and he has the tech to do it. Speaking of diagonals, I think Trossard gave him a beautiful diagonal, and he cut in and he shot and he went over the bar. Yeah. That would have been the goal of this season already.
Oh man, that would have been some goal
if he went in. But yeah, Graham is saying it's too young. I hear that shout. I do hear it, but you know, if you're good enough, if you're old enough, you're good enough. And
yeah, that's our whole thing. And the thing is, nowadays, I mean, players ain't like what they used to be. As I said to you yesterday, it's a whole lot of different now. When you're at a big club like Arsenal, you're getting the best kind of medical help. You're getting the nutritionists. You're playing on carpet. You know what I mean? It's like you've got everything in place to extend your career now. You know, and So I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But going back to the Liverpool game, guys, what worries me is. What really worries me, if he starts going defensive or we get a 1-0 and he sits back on it. And Aaron mentioned it earlier on, you know, and you both mentioned it earlier on that it was a breath of fresh air when he bought on Ethan and all of that. That was against a very, very poor Leeds United team that he bought on Ethan. If we're playing at home against the likes of Man City, something like that, and we're winning 1-0, 2-1, would he bring on Ethan and Dowman then against teams like Man City? Or do you think he will bring on Marino? Because he does tend to sort of sit back against the bigger teams, especially if we're winning. And that's what worries me against Liverpool next week. That's what worries me against Liverpool next week.
Yeah. Go on. Oh, sorry. Go on, Taron.
No, just quickly, I was gonna say, even though Max came on in the 64th minute yesterday, part of that was because he had already he had used 2 subs and could only stop the game one more time. That was his last substitution window. Odegaard in the 37th minute, Saka in the 53rd minute. So if he didn't bring that, I think he had plans to bring Dowman on, but later in the game. I didn't think he planned to give him 30 minutes of football. I'm glad that he got 30-something minutes of football, but the fact that it was his last substitution window is the reason I believe Max Dowman got that many minutes in the game.
Yeah. But do you think he would have made those substitutions in a couple of weeks' time when we play at home against Man City?
Absolutely not. It is a
this is the problem.
Lose. Yeah, I worry about that.
The problem. This is the problem. I mean, that's a big test next week against Liverpool. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I was a little bit disappointed with Leeds. I thought they'd come and that shots are nothing. I think I said it Friday in the preview. I think Leeds had a sort of free hit, and I really thought that they was going to put it on us and make life a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
I always knew we were going to win, but I just thought they would have made it a little bit more difficult. So it was a bit of a stroll in the park in the second half. I thought me and Aaron said backstage, the first half was a little bit, oh, here we go again, like, same old, same old. We got the set piece, we got the goal, but the first half weren't really fantastic. But no, we come away comfortable winners. Let's get this super chat. The Suge is in. Look, here he is. The Suge. Big up all the time, Suge. Big up DJB, Taryn Chat, and the vertically challenged Adam. Hit the likes and subscribe, people. Let's get DJB to 2K subscribers. Quick, smart. Big up,
forever
Suge.
the wanker of the chat, our Suge, Jay.
Oh, the Suge, mate. He's a legend, man. He's an absolute legend. Absolute legend. I mean, the Eze thing. I mean, we have to keep on it. We have to keep on it. And I've not even had a chance to ask you this, Aaron, because obviously you've not been around. Do you think this Eze signing was Arteta all out to get him? Do you think we should have got him in June? I mean, there was people turning around and saying that the deal was already done, and then the Havertz injury got announced. I personally think it would have never have been done if the Havertz injury hadn't have come about. Personally, I think Havertz would have been. I think Eze would have been a Spurs player. What do you think on this old Eze thing? And why didn't we get him in June? Why didn't we get him early so he could go on the pre-season? And why didn't we get him early enough so he could have played against Leeds yesterday? Do you know what I mean? It all just seems a bit weird for me.
It's reactionary, I think, in it, which is the annoying thing about it. Look, I'm happy that he's came in, and there probably will be good positive factors to say about the signing. Like, for argument's sake, if it was solely based down on the Havertz injury, then fair dues to Berta for just probably maybe even going over the top of Mikel Arteta and just going, look, no, we need another player in there. Get this geezer in there. Because with Arteta, with transfers, he just seems to fart arse around. Do you know what I mean? Or should I show? No, that's why the transfers take so bloody long. Because I just sort of think, if you're going to give Bert that sort of credit, he's probably gone to the Kronkers. Look, get this geezer in. Get him in. He'll want to come to Arsenal. That negotiation side of things is going to be no hassle. We know how much Crystal Palace want. Just get him in the board. That's what I probably think he's probably done. He's gone to Josh. Look, let's not piss around here. If we give Mikel Arteta the reins here, we're going to be doing this until September the 2nd, and then he'll be holding up someone else's shirt. Do you know what I mean? So I just sit there and think, yeah, he's probably gone. Yeah, let's not fart arse around here. Let's just get him in. Having said that as well, it is a little bit frustrating rather, that it was a reactionary signing, or seems to be a reactionary signing, because it's basically the same money as his release clause anyway. It's not as if we've saved dough. You know what I mean? It's not as if, oh wow, Arsenal's got him for 50 million. They wanted 68. We've saved 500 grand. Do you know what I mean? So come on, man, innit? Do you know what I mean? So even at the expense of that, of course, you sit there and you just think, well, why wouldn't you have got him? Even in mid-July, so we'd have been able to fly out to Hong Kong, in Thailand, and the places there. So that's what makes me think it is a reactionary signing, because if you're going to pay exactly the same amount of dough anyway, you haven't saved a penny, then that I think that just in itself proves to you really that it is a bit of a reactionary signing. And that's fine. As I said, to double down on the points that I said, it's all well and good that we have reacted very quickly and got him. However, there's also going to be that lingering, why didn't you do it earlier? But as well as that, it proves that, we are able to then sort of make these signings without the outgoings, because that had been the talk in the media, hadn't it, before? They were peddling out we can't afford to sign anyone until we sell someone. So they did have the dough before. What I would sort of question now, which will lead on to that naturally, is our window over now? Barring any, like, say for argument's sake, maybe it wouldn't be, should the Saka injury have been a 3-4 monther, maybe then that would have also again changed him. I'd rather that not be the case, of course. But is our window over now? Are they sort of going to look at it and go, well, look, now you have got an Eze, you can play on the left. You've got a Madueke that has been playing on the left. Can you see them going for another left winger? Because that would be the natural next position. If Arsenal came out and said, right, we're signing one more player, you'd naturally think that's the left winger, wouldn't you? You wouldn't think it's going to be a centre back. You wouldn't think it's going to be another defender, would you? You wouldn't think it'd be another midfielder.
No.
You'd naturally think, it's a left winger. Are we going to do that? Is our window over in terms of incomings? I'd sort of like to think so, but I don't think it should be. That's the intriguing thing for me now. We've got what seven or so days left of it. I'd like to think that Arsenal, albeit maybe while they might consider themselves shut, I'd like them to at least be open and looking around just to see if there was someone that became available. The name, obviously, we all like to mention, and I know we won't get, would be a Rodrigo or a Lookman. Is that deal going to be viable? Is that going to be a last-minute shout? Or Arsenal going to be open to the idea? Is their name going to be genuinely in the hat? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see, and I'd like to hope so. But I think maybe, considering how reactionary Eze was, I think probably tells you that the window will probably sort of be done. And you think you're looking at that left winger, that would take us spending over 300 million with no outgoings. So it doesn't look like it would. But look, who knows? They've had a high spending window anyway. Could they try and get that cherry on top of the icing of what would then be a reasonably good window? I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. I hope they don't close off. I'm waffling now, but I hope they just don't close themselves off to the idea. If someone becomes available, that their name will be in the hat.
It's a worry. It's a worry for me, Aaron, because you touched on it there. There's no outgoings, and we still haven't addressed it. That I don't think we've still addressed the left side. I did have something here that I wanted to share, but I can't seem to get it up at the moment. But it showed you our squad depth. But the left-hand side to me is still a worry, and the left back is still a worry. And I know Calafiori's come in, Taron, and he's looked okay, but I mean he's looked okay against Leeds. All due respect to Leeds, no disrespect to Leeds, but he looked okay. But Skelly, to me, I've always said he's not a left back. So for me, going forward, if you're going to win titles and go far in the Champions League, I'm still worried about that left-hand side. And I know you can put Eze out there, but I think you'll kill him long-term, Eze. And you touched on and Aaron touched on it brilliantly when he said Eze's not going to be the sort of player that he's going to do a defensive duty. I don't think Eze's going to do defensive duties. It's not how he operates.
Yeah.
So I'm still worried about the left-hand side. And are we going to bring any more signings in? Is there going to be a loan signing? Because I thought the window was shut. Weeks ago. So when Eze got announced that we were going to get Eze, I was quite shocked. So I've got to be honest. I never saw that coming. I thought we was done and dusted. So, I mean, so for me, the left-hand side is a problem. That's all I'm saying. I still think it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a massive problem, but I don't think we get any. We see it as a problem. He doesn't, because he sees Skelly, Calafiori, and we've seen him put Timber over there and play Ben White on the right. So right now, it's problematic because we got Zinchenko, who's our third, or I can make the argument, our fourth choice left back. Why he can't leave the club? He's our fourth choice left back on 150K. No one is going to pay that. Then no one's going to pay a left back to be the highest paid player at the club. That's why he can't leave. Eze signing was 100%, maybe not 100%, but there's a huge reactionary tax there, right? If the club believed that they could trust Eze to go all the way to the line at Tottenham without crossing it, because he agreed to personal terms, right? And they said, okay, he really wants Arsenal, he goes to Arsenal. And we still haven't sold anyone, have to sell to buy. We haven't sold anyone, and we went and got the player anyway. But I think Arsenal will somehow be involved in a deadline day fiasco. I think someone in the chat said Ben Chilwell.
Deadline day disaster. Nicholas Jackson.
We're known for that. We're known for that. The Sterlings. I think Ozil was the last deadline day signing that was worth a damn. Did I skip someone? I don't know. But it's the left side is problematic, but I don't think he sees it as a problem. I've read reports that he blocked the sale of Martinelli to go to Bayern Munich and to Saudi for the reason of his defensive work rate. And I don't want to hear about my winger's defensive duties. Like I don't know what the matrix are for Mo Salah's defensive duty, but I'm pretty sure they're not good. And no Liverpool fan you can find will care. right? I don't want to see Eze in our half of the pitch putting in shifts. No, he does his damage going forward. That's what we need, for him to be in the other half of the pitch, creating chances for our striker, right? Because Gyökeres scored a fantastic goal yesterday, a DIY goal, a do-it-yourself goal. But now that we have Eze in the squad, I love how after Gyökeres scored, the camera went immediately into the stands to Eze, and he's like, okay, this guy, I want him to be on the end of my passes down the middle to score goals, but I wouldn't be annoyed if I saw Eze lined up on the left, as long as he's in the attacking third, forcing Liverpool back.
Which is what we've got to do. We've got to get our attacking players in more of an advanced attacking position and stop all this kind of tracking back all the time and everything else. And this is what Liverpool done with Salah, wasn't it? This is why they got points on the ball, because the manager came in, got hold of Salah and said, look, I don't want you doing your damage there. I want you doing your damage in the final third. And he brought the best out of Salah. And that's what I think we need to do. If Eze's playing on the left, we don't want him tracking back. But against Liverpool away, I think you've got to be a little bit defensive minded. I don't mean go all gun ho and take the game to them and get destroyed, but you have got to think of the defensive side a little bit at Anfield. You can't go crazy. Gyökeres home debut. I thought he was. I think he's a throwback. I think this guy's a throwback of an old-fashioned centre forward, and it's so refreshing to see. However, I didn't think he had much of the ball. Really, he created that goal. I mean, it was a first-time pass, I think, and the defender was nowhere, and he got the ball and he cut inside. But other than that, he hardly. I don't know about you, Aaron. You was watching it live from the stand as well. He hardly touched the ball, really. And for me, it's a little bit worrying that he's having to do a lot of work off the ball to try and make things happen. So do you think that's going to take time, or do you think it's just the way we set up?
Yeah, I think probably a little bit of both. It will take time, I think, naturally, to sort of bleed him into how Arteta does things. However, I do, even though we sort of put 5 in there yesterday, you got to remember that he's still playing it as in a team that still lacks creativity. And you'd like to hope that once Eze gets his feet wet in the Arsenal team, and we do have more of them creative players, hopefully then that would work alongside a Gyökeres not having to come deep and try and get him involved too sort of much. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully you will then have that creativity where you can just feed him and keep him, letting him run off the shoulders and running through the channels and sort of going that way towards goal rather than having to come back. So look, I think it's sort of early days. You got to remember, I know he's played in England before. He's got to have a little bit of time, but the most important thing, like what Taryn touched on, and I like that it was his first goal as well, that he got in open play rather than the penalty. He created it himself. So Taryn's absolutely 100%. Bang on there, and that's what we've lacked. And I knew he was going to sort of talk about it, and I'm glad I can sort of mention what Taryn was saying there. The ball's played out on the left. He had no real right to score. You always think if that was anyone else, they're going to try and maybe beat a man, or they're going to hold up the ball and they're going to cross it in, or they're going to try and drag it back. But he doesn't. The second he gets that ball, you're sitting there and thinking he's going to try and wrangle himself a little shot here. And not only does he do that, he gets himself into a goal scoring position, does the most important thing, and the reason why we signed him. He creates himself a scoring opportunity, and not only does he do that, he makes that bloody net ripple. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
And we need that, as Taryn said, we need them DIY goals. We've missed that massively. If that's Havertz there's no way he's even getting a shot away.
No,
he's not even getting himself in that position.
No.
Not only does he get himself that in position, he does the most important thing, and he puts the ball in the net. That's exactly what we've missed. So yeah, look, I'm sort of I sort of can appreciate, he's going to have to get a bit of time to get himself involved in how we sort of play. There is also then again that secondary point of Eze coming in, a bit more creativeness. Hopefully we will see more of the kids, i.e. Ethan Waneri, and Max Stallman in there. So we will have that bit of flair behind him as well in some games. If an Odegaard does come off, he's going to have that added extra impetus of player that wants to try and beat their man and try and find the attacking player. Because as we've said before, the Nwaneris and the Max Stallmans, they want to drive towards goal. So that only probably means good things for Gyökeres in terms of he's got a plan that wants to drive towards him, and hopefully that unlocks him a little bit more. I'm happy. Look, he started the season with 2 goals. The Manchester United, it was a little bit of a bastard for everyone involved, really, wasn't it? It was one of them games. But look, he's got himself 2 goals today. Massively important that he got one of them, and I believe the first one from open play. A bit of a DIY goal. I think that means a lot. That's a big thing for him to get that, off his shoulder. And there's no sort of reason why now he can sort of kick on. You see what it meant to him as well, that first goal. As soon as he got that in there, you could see it in his face. He was like, yes, here we go. And with a striker, you need that. The quicker that happens, the better it is. Because if you don't score against Leeds and then the Liverpool game's tricky, all of a sudden you're now looking at that Nottingham Forest game and you're thinking, Gyökeres has got to get a goal here.
And the pressure's on, and he knows Arsenal ain't had a striker.
Exactly right. The crowd are thinking, well, Gyökeres, this is game 4.
Yeah.
You've got to get your thing ready. If he doesn't do that, you've got tricky Man City and Newcastle games coming up.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're thinking, Geezer, you need to bloody score here now, mate. So he's got that off his back. He's got 2 goals there, which will only fill him with confidence. You know what I mean? And it does with that striking position. It's one of them positions where you've got to put the ball in the back of the net. It's as simple as that. You will always be judged on how much you score. Don't matter if you're the prettiest player on the park. It doesn't make a difference. How many goals do you score? That's all that matters. And so far he's got himself 2. So I think that's
happy days. And he's running off the ball as well, and what he tries to do, and he's a presence, isn't he, Taryn? The way he sort of gets his body in front of defenders. I like all that old-fashioned sort of Alan Shearer type, Mark Hughes type of striker. Do you know what I mean? And to me, he comes across sort of a bit of Haaland-ish, boisterous. I like it. I do like it. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, he scored a hard one. Now we got to get him some easy ones. Right?
Yeah,
we got to give some easy ones. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think Eze is the guy to do that, because what Eze is really good at in the middle of the park is getting by his man, drop his shoulder, getting by his man. And at Anfield, if Eze drops his shoulder and gets by Gravenberch or Szoboszlai, one of those defenders, either Van Dijk or Konate, has to cheat. One of them have to come off Gyökeres now, and that will give Eze more space to operate. And that's why I'm really, really interested to see how he's going to set up at Liverpool, because it's a mentality thing for me, right? Nottingham Forest went to Liverpool last year in September and won 1-0. All of a sudden, that gave him life, and they spent most of the year in 3rd place. Nottingham Forest, they didn't set out to try to finish. Now, unfortunately, in the end, they tailored off a little bit, but they spent the majority of last season in 3rd place. It was Liverpool, us, and them. And that 1-0 win was a huge catalyst in them starting to believe. So if we go to Liverpool and lay down a marker going into the international break, it's a whole different Arsenal.
100%. I think that international break, having Liverpool before that international break, I think it's a good thing, because they can go there, they can really express themselves. They haven't got to worry about another Premiership game coming up. And I believe, I think they've just got to go there and produce the goods, and they've got all the tools to do it, because Liverpool don't. I mean, well, it depends how they play against Newcastle tomorrow. That's going to be a tough game for them tomorrow, and I'll be watching that. Yeah. I'll be watching that, because if they steamroll Newcastle and do a job on Newcastle, and then suddenly they're at home against us, you're then thinking, hang on a minute, we've got to be at it here. So it'd be interesting. And on the other side of that game tomorrow against Newcastle, if they weren't to pick up 3 points against Newcastle and lose,
it's a must win against us.
They're going to need a reaction, aren't they? So whatever way we look at it, guys, it's going to be a tough test. But listen,
but you know what I think, just quickly, D, as well.
Go on, mate.
I think regardless of the result, it will matter about the performance that Liverpool play more than anything.
Say that.
Yeah. So I know it sounds silly. If they draw, but they absolutely batter Newcastle, I reckon that still wouldn't bode as well for us, because they're
No.
clicking into gear. Whereas
Yeah.
if they had a horrible, wretched, stinky draw, where it was just one of them games
Yeah.
where none of them are on it. It was an horrible night in Newcastle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then maybe there could be that sort of, oh, well, they're not really playing well here. Maybe it could be a good time to catch them, as you quite rightly say. They haven't looked like they've clicked into gear yet or whatever. I know they had the good 4-2 win against Bournemouth. But yeah, I think that them little bits, you've got to read into them little things when you're playing elite level high end. If you're considering that Arsenal are going to be competing for the Premier League, going away to Liverpool is going to be one of, if not the biggest game of your season.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
you will want these little 1%, because at that level of football, that makes a difference. If Liverpool are going to be pegged back a little bit by Newcastle, and they're not quite at it, even 1% at it, you'll take it. 0.5%, you'll have it, because them small little margins in elite level football are what make the differences. So it'd be interesting, wouldn't it, tomorrow to see sort of
I think so. I
how
think
it
it'd
goes.
be interesting to see how Liverpool. I mean, because that's quite a big test, and it's St James's Park, and we've still got to go there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We've got some big games coming up. Man City, they're going to want a reaction, aren't they? Especially after losing against Spurs as well. So I mean, it's going to be interesting. But it'd be interesting to see how Liverpool perform tomorrow, and then obviously got us at the weekend, which is. It is massive already. This, you could say it's like a 6-pointer, couldn't you, at the start of the season? Do you know what I mean? And not only that, would it make a difference in the title? Whoever wins that, do you think, or do you think it's too early in the season? I mean, me personally, I think psychologically it gives you the edge a little bit, because you think, right, we can go all the way now, and it gives you that confidence, but. I don't think anyone would be too carried away that we're all automatically going to be. Well, some of the top gooners might think, "Oh, that's it. We're going to win the league now if we beat Liverpool." But
it's a massive statement.
It just gives you a bit of confidence. But do you think it's obviously it's not? Titles ain't going to be decided on whether we beat Liverpool on Saturday, is it?
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is that if we go there and win, now all of a sudden the team looks around the entire Premier League and think to themselves, Anfield away, probably the toughest fixture for Arsenal Football Club. Anfield away, Man United away, and we've gone to both grounds and got 3 points. That would be massive for the team. And I take some solace in knowing that we're going to Anfield in match week 3 versus match week 35 needing a win.
Yeah.
Facts. So, whenever we play them in the reverse fixture, is at the Emirates, whatever the circumstances around the table are, be that as it may when it gets here. But match week 3, we're going to Anfield with a good chance to get something out of it. I'm feeling good about it.
I'll take a point. I'll take a point all day long. I'll take a point. Do you leave me on performance though? You mentioned it there, Aaron. If we were to lose, but we put in a good performance, and I mean their keepers kept them in the game, we've hit the post, we've kind of really taken the game to them, but we've come away losing 1-0 or 2-1. I think performance-wise, if we really gave a good account and we lost, I don't think I'd be too. Obviously, I'd be upset that we haven't taken the 3 points, obviously, but I don't think I'd be too upset as long as the performance was there.
Yeah, look, no one wants to lose or draw, especially the big games away. But if you're gonna lose, they're the way you want to lose. You want to go. Do you know what? It's just one of them. We just didn't win today. But we did play them out better, and you think, we should have come out at least with a draw there, or should have won. They're the ways you at least want to lose if you're gonna lose. Going out swinging and really performing well. So I think that's sort of fair to say. I think if we was to have a great performance and loss, I think it makes it easier to bounce back. It's not when you get annihilated, the next game's it's almost out of necessity. You're like, yeah, shit, we got to change and act fast. Whereas I think, if you lose a game where you've played really well and maybe even dominated, shouldn't have lost, I think then that would be for our Nottingham Forest game. I think that does make it easier to bounce back a little bit, because nothing really needs to change other than the result. Whereas if the result don't go your way and you're playing bad, there's a lot to change. You've got a lot to do there. You've got a lot to think. Do you go back to square one? Do you do this? Do you do that? So I
Yeah.
think that would be a little bit easier. But look, I want to say as well with what you boys have been saying, should we win? Yeah, it is a little bit too early because it would only be match day 3. But I think Taryn said it quite well a little bit earlier. If you was to get that win, that momentum, and he said that I think referencing the Nottingham Forest game in the other way round. I think as
Yeah.
well. Look at what Liverpool done in the early stages of the season. They won that league after 10 games. Really,
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
they?
It was done. Yeah.
They got that momentum and they never really looked back. Liverpool. And I'm
No.
not saying that if we go there and win, we'll do the same. However, I reckon that they're the performances that Arsenal need. If you look at the last 3 seasons, we've done everything but win away against the big teams. We've done everything but go to the Etihad and take 3 points. We've done everything but go to Liverpool and get them 3 points. And, you know, I'm not saying that we will or would or should or whatever. But if you go to Liverpool and make your start 9 out of 9, even with a stinky, ugly win, if you go there and get 9 points, and 6 of them have came away at Manchester United and at Liverpool, you're looking at a real sort of solid season. And not only are you looking a real solid start to the season, I should have said, sorry, you're then also looking at going to Nottingham Forest and get your 3 points. Then all of a sudden, you know, you're 12 for 12. You're set up quite nicely for the season. You know, you can maybe get a bastard of a draw away at Newcastle, and you know, if you get a result against Manchester City and you come out stinking of roses, do you know what I mean? All of a sudden that changes. But you got to do it first, of course. You know, you got to do it first, of course.
You've got to have a
but
manager.
The point I'm trying to make is that psychologically, you go to Liverpool and you get them 3 points, and all of a sudden, them players are thinking, all right, we could do something this season. We've got our win away at our title rivals now. We could do something here. And I reckon that's what this team have sort of missed, especially not so last season, but the season before and maybe, you know, the 22-23 season. They've missed that belief that, wow, we can really go on and do it and winning away in your big grounds. You look at a lot of the big seasons that we've had, especially, you know, was it the 03-04 season? We went to Liverpool and we done them there. You know, we put that Bobby Perez, I think, done that absolute screamer of a goal in there. You know, a lot of the times when you've gone in the 98, you had the Overmars Manchester United moment. You know what I mean? In 2002, you had the Will Tour moment. You go away to your big rivals, and every time you win there, you know, that's what we've done when we've lifted that Premier League title. We've put in performances against our rivals, not just at home but away, and we've came with the 3 points. And that's what Arsenal are lacking. And I'm not saying, oh well, yeah, you know, positive. We're going to win anything. It wouldn't change a hell of a lot of my opinion towards this football team. However, you get 3 points away at Liverpool, you're looking all right. It's one massive fixture out your head, you know, and you know, should you get them good results with Nottingham Forest, Manchester City at home, and then of course Newcastle away, you come out smelling the roses like that. You've got a good platform to go on and do something, but yeah, look, as I say, you got to do it first. You've got to do it first, and you know, fingers crossed that they do, boys.
I mean, I mean, looking at this, Liverpool 2020 3-1, Liverpool 2021 3-0, Liverpool 2021 again 4-0. I think that was the cup. 2022 2-0. The 2022 3-2. I think that was the cup in that game there. But yeah, if you look at our record at Anfield, it's a bit stinky, isn't it? I mean, there ain't many victories there at all. So it's a tough place to go. It really is. I mean, you know, no one's and Arteta's got to find a way, and this is what leads me on, guys. Arteta has got to find a way, and this is going to be a big test for him because the spotlight's on him this season. He's had all the tools, he's had the money, he's going in now to another season. He's got his striker. He's saying that the squad depth is good. No problems with the squad depth. He's happy with the squad depth. He's happy with the defence. There's no excuses now. And I believe Arteta, not just Arsenal's, Arteta's season starts against Liverpool.
Yeah.
The Leeds game, all right, he went to Old Trafford. We won 1-0, even though we stunk the gaff out. It was a terrible game. but we come away with there for 3 points.
Yeah.
But the Man United have not been the Man United of old. So with that ain't, that was a game where probably 90% of the fan base said, well, yeah, we'll probably go there and we'll probably come away with a draw or a win. This is a massive test. And I think this is Arteta's test because he's had everything.
Yeah, massive test.
So how's he going to go into the game? What is it? We'll be looking at his in-game management. And this is the game that's going to tell me whether he's learned from his past mistakes.
Yeah, this has got to be down to the players, because if it comes into a tactical battle between him and Slot, I think Slot will get the best of him. But if you go to the home of the Premier League champs, the reigning Premier League champs, and you take 3 points, it's massive. It's absolute massive. I'm a firm believer. We were up 2-0 at Anfield in the first failed title charge. I believe if we see at that game we were up 2-0, we win the league.
Yeah,
I do. Up 2-0 because then you win at Anfield, you don't go to West Ham and then blow another 2-0 lead. You don't. You're fully locked in at that part of the season and you go. Now, if with the performance when we go to Anfield next week, if we play well and it's a dodgy pen like today when the ref went back 3 minutes to go give a penalty to Manchester United for pushing the box and we lose on a circumstances beyond our control, fair play. But if it's a game where we have averaged 27% possession, can't get nowhere near the ball and they pepper us and we lose that way, then we're not ready. We're not ready. We're 5 years in with this manager, best defense in the league, 2 years in. You trust that best defense that you have and you go attack Liverpool. These players, though, Liverpool don't want to be at Anfield under the cosh. They don't want to defend, so you make them do that. You make them defend and you push them back. And you go up 2-0, because I do believe at this point in the process, if we go up 2-0 at Anfield, we may see it out this time. Gabriel is more experienced. So is Saliba. My man of the match yesterday was Yuri Timber. I think he is fearless. I think right now, I don't usually gloat with my Arsenal players, but now there is not a right back in the Premier League that I'm taking over Timber.
Facts.
So I do believe if we score first or we go up to, should we see that, and that would just be a massive, massive statement to the rest of the Premier League that this version of the Arsenal may be a little bit different than the past 3 seasons.
Yeah. I hope so, but the problem is, Aaron, and we've been saying it before, whenever this manager's under pressure and whenever we need a big result, like we do on Saturday, he tends to foul. This is the problem. So what I'm trying to say is there's going to be huge pressure going into this game. I know it's early in the season, and I know a lot don't rest on it. It's not going to decide the title. However, the spotlight's going to be on Arteta on Saturday, isn't it? A lot. Me as a fan, and me as wanting change of manager, I'm going to be looking at what he does in game. If it ain't going quite right, things are not quite happening. I want to be looking to see if he's bringing on the Max Diamonds or the Wanyeris or what he's going to do. What are you saying, Aaron?
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to say he's got to get it right now, isn't he? He's got to do something he's never done before. Do you know what I mean? And that's go and get himself a result at a big thing. You can't. It's all well and good getting these draws and all of that, but he's got to prove his worth now, isn't he, Mikel Arteta? Now, if he's going to do it, it has to be now for me. It has to be at Liverpool. We need to see him go there and be able to get these big results because he's not done it before. Like I said before, it's the only thing he hasn't got in his locker, taking the scalp of a big club away at their gaff. I just think it's sort of now or bust for him. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he should be in the job anyway to get this opportunity, if I'm being totally honest with you. But if he's going to do something, it's now or never. You've got to go there and you've got to take the scalp to these big people, to these big teams. You've got to, haven't you? I'm sort of sick and tired of us going to these places and feeling like
Frank done it at Man City the weekend.
Pardon?
I mean, Thomas Frank done it the weekend at Man City.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We're really missing that. We need Arteta to show his worth. Which is 15 million quid's worth of it. Do you know what I mean? He needs to start proving it. I'm sick and tired of you get the Christians and all of that going, oh, he's inexperienced. He's not inexperienced. He's in his 7th season as a fucking Premier League manager. Yeah. He's not inexperienced. He just isn't. No. It's as simple as that. From Pep aside, he's probably now the 2nd most experienced manager in the Premier League.
Longest
Fact.
tenure. Yeah,
Well,
second
look, do you know what I
longest
mean? What we doing here? Do you know what I mean? He's the second. He's the second, or maybe even the highest paid. And well, probably would be under Pep. Sorry. So we're not talking about a pup anymore in terms of management. He's had 7 seasons. He's had a lot of Premier League games that he's managed. Get it right now. Do you know what I mean? Get it right, or go away. Do you know what I mean? I want the geezer that can rather than the geezer that might. You know.
Facts, man.
He's got to earn his pennies now.
But the excuses are going to be there, mate. Because if we do lose, and that Saka was injured, and you're going to get the usuals. But as I said, we've got the squad depth now. Everyone's been saying we've got the depth. There's no excuses. Let's go to Anfield and win. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, why not? Why not? If you can't do it with this squad, you can't do it with this squad of players that you have had for the majority of the time since you've been at the football club, then for me, if we go there and we lose heavily, then there's still question marks. Hey, let's get this super chat. Joseph Connor Golden, thank you, my friend. Big up DJB, Aaron BBK, Saka overplayed, and plus Martin. Yeah, I mean, he has been overplayed, and it is a worry. It is a worry, and I mean, thank God the scans come back and it weren't anything too serious. However, I'll be very surprised if he turns out against Liverpool. I'll be shocked if he turns out against Liverpool. And in actual fact, I don't really want to see him play against Liverpool, and that's me sort of,
I'm sorry. Now, him pulling up is a warning sign. Like against Man United, there were warning signs in the game that were valid, that we pointed out, and then it was the why you moaning, you won the game. But there were warning signs in that game. They had 22 shots at our goal. A Manchester United team that couldn't beat Fulham today without a dodgy penalty and an own goal had 22 shots at our goal. We were just supposed to dismiss that. And then Saka pulling up a hamstring injury after he just had a hamstring injury. Warning signs, like your TPS is on the highway. You're just pay attention to it. Just because you got to your destination with the warning light on doesn't mean you should drive back with it. Like, just check it out.
Exactly. Keep it in the locker. Keep it in the locker room and just keep him. Just check him out. Don't go. Oh, it's all right. Scans have come back. Let's get him on the training kit. Let's roll him out against Liverpool. If he's not fully fit, then just leave him be. Leave him be.
If it is going to be a little 2-3 weeker, just leave him out at Liverpool, and then this is where as well. I think I don't know if I said this to you at the ground yesterday. Yesterday, D. This is where maybe he needs to channel his inner Sir Alex Ferguson, Arteta, and just go, look, he's got a bit of a dicky stomach. Sorry, England. Sorry, England.
Yeah, you said it to me. Yeah.
Sorry, Thomas Tuchel. He's got a little bit of a stomach bug. He can't come with you. That's where he needs to do that. Do you know what I mean? Sod England. With the greatest of respects. Sod the fucking crappy friendly they probably got coming up, or the qualifier against. No one gives a shit to stand.
I don't even know they've got.
What I mean?
Aaron. How bad's that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. No one cares. Do you know what I mean?
In it or something. I don't know.
That's it. As if no one cares, isn't it? Like, just keep him fit. Do you know what I mean?
Just ring up Tommy Tuchel and say, look, I've got some bad news over Saka. He's been up all night. He's been spewing his guts up. He's got a stomach bug.
The lasagna. Do you know what I mean? He's at lasagna and he's out. Sorry, Tommy. Do you know what I mean? You'll have to find someone else. But you know what I mean? But I have Madueke. Yeah, you can play him if you want. You know what I mean? Put him out on the right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just need to be smart.
Go on, mate. Yeah. I've got to be honest, as you've mentioned it. I don't know about you. He didn't set the world alight. I know it was all against Leeds, but for me, he didn't do a lot wrong. In all fairness, I'm gonna be real. He weren't as exciting as like your Max Dowmans and all that, but he done all right, didn't he? I mean, he looked better when he went on the right, but he didn't do a lot wrong. I think he'll play Madueke on the right, if I'm honest with you, against Liverpool. Well, how did you see Madueke the week against Leeds? I thought he was steady-Eddie, wasn't he?
That's for me? Oh.
Yeah, go on, Sarah. Whoever wants to come in, guys, far away.
He was good on the right, but he was on the right for 10 minutes. He spent, so Saka went off in the 53rd minute, then he went over there. Then Max Dowman came in the 64th minute. So he had a 10-minute spell where he's on the right, which that's Captain Obvious is delivering this news. We know he's better on the right than he is on the left. Not to say that he is good on the right, but he is better than he was on the left. This idea that he's the left winger, I have the stats on his left wing performances for Chelsea and England, and it is not good.
Yeah.
So I expected him to do what he did on the right. Fair play to him, but he was only over there for 10 minutes. And when Max Diamond came over there, what's Max's best position? Is it right wing? Is it 10? Because Max was over there cooking for more than 10 minutes because he got almost 30.
Dangerous.
So Nunny, fair play to him. I don't even blame him at this point. The same way I don't blame Kai Havertz for not getting 20 Premier League goals for us. He didn't get 20 Premier League goals in the entire 3 years he was at Chelsea. He is not that guy. So I don't expect Madueke to cook on the left because that's not his position. So, fair play to him for going over there on the right. Now, okay, if you're back up for Saka, now Saka's out, you need to rise, young man.
Yeah. No, he weren't brilliant. And for me, he's not. I just don't get the signing. I don't get the signing. There's worse players than Madueke probably, but for me, Aaron, as I said, he played on the left, but nothing really. He got the ball and he kind of. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of him, to be honest. Perhaps I need to give him time. Perhaps I need to see more games. I don't know. I can't really make up my mind about him. He's just one of these players that I've never understand why he was brought to the club. I don't know about you, my friend.
Yeah, look, I think when you're winning games 5-0 at home against Leeds, an okay performance is okay, isn't it? You can get away with just being all right. Do you know what I mean? If someone else is running the show for you. But okay over a 38 game period absolutely isn't okay, especially when you're forking out the best part of, over 50 million for the geezer. That's fine, if you want to sort of be good but not great, you that's going to be okay for some games. But if he's going to be starting at right wing, replacing a Bukayo Saka away at Liverpool, okay isn't good enough. Because that Bukayo Saka wouldn't be okay. He'd be better than okay playing there. So, you've got to be able to step that performance up, and it's just whether you think he can or can't. If he is playing out on that right, 6 out of 10 performance, I'm sorry, he ain't going to cut it.
No.
If you're going to go there with aspirations of beating Liverpool Football Club, you need everyone operating minimum on your 7s to 8s, and an absolute minimum.
Yeah.
And then especially, if you're going to go there, like they need to be operating on that sort of level as an absolute minimum. And then, you're going to have your best players operating on your 8s and your 9s. Do you know what I mean? As a minimum. If you're going to go there and win, you need a Gyökeres that gets a chance and puts it away. You need a Madueke, or whoever's going to play on the left, and Martinelli to be able to deliver that accurate pass or take that opportunity. And that's what we haven't seen just yet. If Madueke gets into a goal scoring position, what does he do? Is he going to put that chance away? That's the difference between okay and it hitting the inside of the post or tamely rolling at the goalkeeper and it coming off the inside of the post and making the net bulge. Do you know what I mean? Is he going to get put through and see Gyökeres in the middle, and is he going to whip that cross that's on his nut as a sixpence, or is he going to overhit it and it goes out for a goal kick? Is he going to cut back but it's just going to be overhit? Is he going to cut back and it's nowhere near the player, or is he going to cut back nicely into someone's run and then they're going to slot it away? This the difference between okay and very good. Elite. Or there's the difference, if you give Bukayo Saka a cross 7 times out of 10, he's probably going to be finding a geezer, or it's going to be a very good cross and defensively excellently cleared. You give that to Madueke, what we've seen is it don't beat the first man. It goes out. It's not quite there. So that's what sets apart these great players is, like a Martinelli. You've seen it loads of times. He'll get himself into that good position, but you're never confident that it's going to find the man. You're not confident he's going to do the job. And so far, I'm not confident if you gave Madueke 5 opportunities to cut back or finish. I'm not confident at the minute that he'll even put one of them or get one of them right. Do you know what I mean? He's got to prove that, and he's not going to get many of a better stage away at Liverpool, to showcase why he's been signed by Arsenal and why he belongs to be at Arsenal and why he should start future games at Arsenal. This is what you need to do. Give Bukayo Saka a problem coming back. You know, I'm not saying that he will, but if he goes in and puts a blockbuster performance at Liverpool, let's just say Saka misses the next 2 or 3 games, but Madueke's man of the match against Liverpool, then he runs riot against Nottingham Forest, and then he's one of your best players against Manchester City. That's what we want at Arsenal Football Club. Give Bukayo Saka a bit of a problem coming back into the team. Or if he's going to put Bukayo Saka in the team, put him back at the left and think, wow, you've got 2 on-form wingers here. Give us that opportunity. That's why you've been bought, apparently, at the football club. That's all well and good now. You know what I mean? Feeding off your 50 million tag. I'm here to do well for Arsenal. Do the business on the pitch. That's 100%. All we want. If you're here now, do the fucking business. And if you're not, fade away into the backstage. Big up, brother. Fade away like the rest of them usually do in the attacking players at Arsenal. Allow yourself to fade away. And if you're going to do that and that's going to be the option, go away. Get away. Get out my football club. Go away. Piss off. Do you know what I mean?
There's no time. There's no time. Madueke's got to do what Gyökeres has done. Is he's got to come on. He's got to make a name for himself, and he's got to come in and hit the ground running. And I just don't see it with this player. I just don't see it. I mean, I'm going through the squad, you know, and we've been pretty positive tonight. But the bottom line is, and the questions get asked is this squad actually? Everyone goes on about squad depth. Squad depth. Well, Gyökeres I'll give you an example. Gyökeres' backup is Havertz and Jesus.
Moreno.
That's the backup we got. Jesus is not going to kick a ball till January. He ain't going to come back. He wasn't prolific anyway before he got injured. Havertz looks pretty serious to me. So that's the backup for Gyökeres. Saka. The backup for Saka is Madueke and Nelson, who's still at the football club. Odegaard, one-year endowment. Okay, fine. Timber White, that's it. Saliba Mosquera, Gabriel Kivior, Calafiori Skelly, Rice Marino, and then you've got Eze, presuming he's going to play on the left, is Martinelli and Trossard. And Zubimendi is Norgard. So, as much as we're painting a pretty picture with our first starting 11, Saka, Gyökeres, Eze, Rice, Zubimendi, etc., we're still only 3 sort of suspensions or 3 injuries away from like, hang on a minute, suddenly our team's looking very, very average. And this is the worrying thing. So, do you know what I mean? This is what worries me, especially Gyökeres. There is literally no backup for this striker.
Yeah.
So this is one of the, we go on about having a left winger, but for me, we need to try and bring in another striker. Because we've literally got one at the football club. That's it. Who wants to come in on it? I mean, that to me is worrying.
Go on, Aaron.
Yeah. I think with regards to that, whilst I absolutely agree with you, I reckon you're looking at now a position where he's going to absolutely be waiting until next summer now. Whoever's going to be manager then, I just can't see us getting another striker. And now, though we do need it, you've got to remember then next summer, you're going to have, or at least in the winter, you're probably going to have a fit Jesus that hopefully will be at least somewhat sellable. You know, he needs to get out the football club. You can't, with Gyökeres, we've got 3 strikers apparently in Havertz, in Gyökeres and Gabriel Jesus, and they're on £750,000 a week between them. It's just not sustainable to add another player in there who's probably going to be wanting in and coming in, knowing that he's going to be back up to Gyökeres. He's going to be at least on £100,000 a week. You can't then be having strikers on nearly £1 million a week. Something's got to give. And most likely it's going to be Gabriel Jesus that's going to give. The only problem that we've got is, of course, like we've just said, he's not going to be fit. No one's going to buy him. No one's going to purchase that geezer on 265k a week, knowing that he's not going to be fit until January. Who's going to do that? If someone does that, they must be the thickest football club in the world. If they're going to go, yeah, we'll have him on £1 million a month, and he's not going to be fit for another 4 or 5 months. We would do that. That's something we'd do, but we've already got him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think in terms of that striking position, yeah, whilst I do agree with you, absolutely 100%, we ain't going to see another striker walk in the door easily until the next summer window. I mean, maybe they might see something happen. They might get rid of Jesus on one of them little loans with an option or an obligation to buy in January. And then we might find someone, big up Gianni. We might then in turn find someone in the market, you know, a little loan or something, a little 6-month loan or something. I don't know. Maybe that could happen in the winter. But in terms of strikers, yeah, I'd be very surprised. Even almost somewhat a little bit disappointed if we signed another striker for money this window, purely on the basis of I still believe that a starting left winger is imperative, absolutely imperative, and would be sort of the player that I'd rather have. That's why almost as well again to say about the Madueke thing. It's frustrating to me to sit there and think, let's say a Lookman and a Rodrigo, one of them players are available, and we just can't afford them because we've got to back up Madueke. Exactly right. You know, I sit there and think, you've solved a backup right winger issue at the expense of a starting left winger. That to me is batshit. That is absolutely ridiculous. So again, I've got to use that same logic as the striker. I would rather see us bring in a starting left winger as opposed to a backup striker.
What I mean? Yeah,
so that's where I'm going to stand with that.
That's a fair comment, and that's a good fact. Yeah, Taryn, what you saying on that squad depth that I read out, my friend? Is it going to be good enough? And what I mean, starting 11, if it all clicks into gear, then you know it could be an okay season. It could be, but we've still got the problem with the manager, unfortunately. But anyway, that's another subject. It's not the starting 11 I worry about. It's who comes in. So Gyökeres, God forbid anything happens to him, where do we go?
Yeah, it's absolutely fair. I mean, I know it sounds hyperbolic coming off of a 5-0 win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know, but however, if you look at it holistically, if you step away from the tree and look at the forest, right, you will see that you're seeing Havertz, Saka, and Benjamin White all pick up injuries in a week span, and we're only in match week 2.
Exactly.
So if there's ever been evidence that you need squad depth, just look at our squad. Don't look at Chelsea. Don't look internally on how we are falling already. We've played 2 Premier League games. Yeah. And we have a mammoth game away at Anfield, and we have Manchester City in 3 weeks' time. So it's absolutely valid to, and the prioritization of, you know, the backup right winger who's starting left wing without getting the starting left wing. It just seems like there wasn't a clear plan to begin with, right? Because you plug your holes, build your foundation, plug your holes, and then you plan backwards. But it seems like we were getting replacement for Jorginho and all this other stuff before addressing the glaring hole in our left wing of our team that had our attack so lopsided that we've had to play Bukayo Saka the highest amount of minutes over the past 4 years in the Premier League, and wonder why he pulls up with both of his hamstring. Now, Shane Goon has been pointing this out for months, and I'm fully worried now. Like, I'm in panic mode. Like, is Saka ever going to get back to the level that we need him to be, and is he going to take that next step? Because I still think a fully fit Bukayo Saka has another level to go. And I think we don't get our squad depth right where he can. Okay, we're up 3-0 in the 65th minute. You take him off, kind of like how he did Timber yesterday. Timber put in the man of the match performance. He played 65 minutes. Okay, off you go. Someone else comes, but you need the depth to do that. And it's if we're blessed with injuries from this point on, as we were in the 23-24 season, we might be okay. But you know, it's a World Cup year. We still have internationals and all this other stuff. It's going to be very difficult if it's match week 2 and we're already losing 3 players in a week. Very concerned.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. Let me just go. My lights have gone out. Hang on.
Yeah, because in the when Boxing Day comes and the fixture pile up, and then there's EFL, and with our luck, we're going to draw a Premier League team in the 3rd round of the EFL Cup. We're not going to get a Coventry. In the 4th round of the FA Cup, we're not going to get a Grimsby or a Exeter. We're going to get Newcastle or a Brighton. So
Bastard fixture, isn't it? Yeah.
so the squad
No,
depth is definitely an issue.
Is a worry, my friend. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? As you just said, we're only a couple of weeks in, and already we're getting injuries, and there's doubts on this one, doubts on that one. Ben White, he's another one that's not sort of fully fit. It is a worry. It is a worry, and I know all teams have their worries about injuries and stuff like that, and I get that. But it's key players. It's key players that have, and this is all the problems that we've had in the past with squad rotation and playing players in games that he don't need to play. Hopefully now with this so-called squad depth, he can rotate. He can rotate and he can bring players off. Now, absolute legends, guys. I just want to say thank you for the chat. Make sure that you're subbing to Aaron Talks Arsenal and BBK. Make sure that you're getting on subbing to these and following these legends and absolute real ones as well. And now, big up the chat. Big up. Thanks for all your comments and everything. Make sure you're subbing. If you haven't subbed, please do so. Doesn't cost anything. You haven't got to follow us. Just make sure you put a sub on it. It does help the channels. And if you haven't smashed the like, no reason not to. Go smash a like, guys. Come on, let's get the likes up and everything else. Guys, it's been an absolute wonderful Sunday sit back. You've been absolute legends. We've had a little chat. This is what the Sunday sit back's all about. We chat about everything. And we ain't been too negative tonight. What's going on, guys?
Well, do you know what, though?
Aaron, what's going on? We ain't been too negative.
This is sort of what it is, though. This is what people don't understand, yeah? And this is why I know that this world-class chat, will be totally different to the one I do on Tuesday when I go in and say basically exactly the same thing on the football terrace, but then I'll get absolutely slaughtered by about 500 comments.
Well, tell them to come and watch this, my friend.
All we do is...
We've been positive.
I know. All we do, though, is just relay what we've seen. Now, we're talking about a season just isolated within 2 games. And in particularly, we're talking about 1 game isolated. No one's going, oh, this is going to be it. This is the turning point and all that. What we're doing is we're just articulating and truthfully with our eyes and using our mouth to get the words out of what we've seen. And a 5-0 win is good. We've picked out a couple of little flaws or possible things that we might have to do. But if you're going to start the season with 2 wins, one of them being away at Manchester United and then a 5-0 win at home, you're going to sort of say, do you know what I mean? Well, yeah, no one's getting ahead of themselves. No one's not doing that. Do you know what I mean? We've not lost on that. What we're doing is we're just saying it's a 5-0 win. It's a decent start to the season. There's many long more games to go. But I'm happy with sort of not having to sit here and withdrew at Manchester United and we just scraped over the line v Leeds. Then we're talking a different way. Why? Because you've had 2 stinky performances and you've not got the points that you should be having.
Exactly.
So then you would be talking a little bit differently. But look, there is more reason to speak a little bit more upbeat when you're doing the business. And I'll do the same thing if we get a draw. I'll go, look, it's a good draw. 7 points out of them 9, considering the start. It's all well and good. If we get a win, I'll be going, wow, yeah, look, this is a really solid start to the season. Fair dues for Arsenal Football Club. They've put themselves in a nice little stead before that international break and coming back into it, If we get spanked and lose to Liverpool, you're thinking, well, there we go. Back to square one. You're not going to be bouncing up and down off the ceiling, are you, with happiness if you go and lose that game? So That's all we're doing. We're just being totally honest with you. People just expect you to light their faces. If we get absolutely spanked by Liverpool, people are still going, oh, yeah, but, the other 2 games are good. Who cares about the other 2 games? You've just lost today. You know what I mean? Oh, well, all well and good. Do you know what I mean? That people still want us to live off Real Madrid. What happened is we smashed Real Madrid at the Emirates, and then I woke up the next morning and thought, yeah, what a bloody good game that was yesterday. By Thursday, couldn't care less about it. Gone. Ta-la. Oh, back of my gone now.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. We just got to keep, if it's going to be 2 wins from 2, make it 3 wins from 3. And if you're not going to do that, go get yourself a little draw.
And if Arteta fails again in a big game, like on Liverpool that we touched on, the pressure's going to be on him. All the emphasis is going to be on Arteta. If he fails, and he fails miserably, and the team drops stinkers, and he got his tactics wrong, and he makes his substitutions wrong, I'm sorry, he's going to be called out like he is every single season. Why hasn't he done that? Why is he still doing this? Because if you look at this football manager over the years, he's never learnt from his mistakes.
Right.
And you have to call it out.
Yeah.
You can't keep sitting there going, oh, we've beaten Leeds 5-0 and we've beaten Real Madrid and everything else. We beat Real Madrid. And then what happened against PSG? Clueless. Absolutely clueless. Game was done within the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
And we was all banging up about Real Madrid, and rightly so. But this is what we're trying to say. So, yeah, there has been some positives tonight. We've had a stinky 1-0 win at Man United. We've beaten a poor Leeds team, a poor performance from Leeds. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
No disrespect to them, it was poor. We've beaten a poor Leeds team at the Emirates 5-0. But you've got to keep your feet firmly on the ground. The big test is Saturday.
Yeah.
And he will be called out if things go wrong, Taryn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, just quickly, I would dare us put any kind of standards on the second highest paid manager in the Premier League in a big game.
Do you know what I mean?
You know
How
what I mean?
dare you?
How dare us? So, I'll just leave it there. But yeah, man, fantastic chat, man. Thank you for having me on. Big up to Aaron, big up to DJB, and big up to
Taryn. Big up, my friend. Thank you for coming on at last minute. Do appreciate it. What you got coming up, Taryn?
Actually, so big up to Lynch, because I was in the comment section to start, and then Lynch said, "Are you on?" And I was like, "No, I'm not on." And then that's when you sent me the link, and here I am. But yeah, I'm going over to Jordy Dread TV in about 5 minutes. He has a Night Owl Enemy Lines podcast that I'm about to jump on real quick, so I have to head out. But thank you so much, man. Big up to Lynch.
No, you're welcome, man. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Aaron. It's been a while, mate. It's been a while since you've been. Well, I think since you've been on my channel. Obviously, we do the OGs on a Monday night, which I absolutely love. We've got the OGs, haven't we? I think still coming up, unless you're busy. But
that'll be at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
What else you got? What else you got coming up, my friend?
Yeah, I'm going to try and sneak in a couple more sort of streams. It's been a bit of a topsy. Well, you know more than that. It's been a bit of a topsy every 2-3 months for me. I've never been able to get a real consistent level amount of streams in, purely because everything's just been one after the other. Absolutely one thing after the other. And when it starts stockpiling, I know what I'm like. When my nut starts going, I'm not the same. I can't deliver what I want to. Do you know what I mean? I'll come on, and when my head's not in the right place, I get a bit snappy. I get all this. I just can't be who I want to be. I don't want to, come on stream and be in that way. So I'm one of them things. If there's anything I've learned over near 36 years of being on this planet, is sometimes you need to take yourself away from some things. Do you know what I mean? And that's where a bit of an head is on me. Do you know? Sometimes I just need to go, look, get yourself out of a situation. You don't want to.
You will do. You will do.
But yeah, now the nuts. We're ticking in the right way now. Do you know what I mean? Like so.
Quality,
people are going to be a bit more stuck with me.
Quality. Now we just do what we do, won't we? Yeah, Johnny D, DJB, I want you to celebrate the title with your sons in 8 months. Do not do me a dirty. I want to celebrate a title, and it'll be a massive celebration. We celebrate a title, and then Zidane gets signed, and he's our new manager to defend it the following season. How about that? That'd be absolutely brilliant. Jan Boy as well, 89 likes. Jan Boy, I'm going to ask Aaron backstage, because I've been trying to make certain people mods on my channel, and for some reason or another, I put in Jan Boy, and about 3 or 4 other strangers keep coming up.
I don't know if Aaron can do it from the YouTube chat. You have to do it from the YouTube studio, not from the StreamYard studio. If you right click in the YouTube studio, right click, it will give you the option to mod him right now.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, my friend.
Yeah. Am I mod on yours anymore, D?
You are. You should be, Aaron. Yeah, I think you are.
No, I'm not. It's gone off.
What's happened? I've had a few problems. I've had a few problems with my mods.
I just wrote that to see if I've got the spanner or not.
No, I don't know why, Aaron. I've not taken anyone off, so I do apologise if you're not. It just all went a little bit.
That's how it is, D, is it? I don't stream for a couple of bits. He stripped me of me.
No way, mate. You'll always be my man. You'll always be my man. You've been there from day one, my friend. And no, I wouldn't do things like that, my friend. We'll have to sort out the mods backstage. We'll have to go through it and sort them out. But yeah, there is a couple. But Big up the chat as usual. Everyone's been in, the Lynch, the Jam boys. We've had Aces in, Johnny D, my nemesis. You know, he goes in now. Johnny D is an absolute Arteta. He loves him, mate. He worships the ground he walks on. But he's a little bit, you know, he puts some good comments in, and we appreciate that on this chat. All those that come over from Leeds as well. Big up Lee for the raid. 100% complete and utter legend, our Capitano, and everyone that's coming from Leeds. Thank you very much indeed. Shane came in as well and gave support. Make sure you go and sub to Shane. Jezza came in as well. Make sure you go and sub to him. Northside, you know the real ones to sub to. Kawaji, yeah, he's in there as well. Have you had a good celebration, Kawaji, with your A-levels yet? Yeah, have you all been treated and got your new Arsenal top as a little present? I hope you went out and got your new Arsenal top as a little present as well. Aaron Stinker and Hooked, apparently, because you haven't demodded, mate. I ripped him off. He was Odegaard settings, and he was spinning around in circles, doing his Odegaard. I had to sub him, man. Jam boy, he had to be subbed, I'm afraid. But we'll get him back. We'll get him back and running.
Aaron out.
Rodrigo is crying now. Hope Arsenal will try to do something. I don't think we're going to. We've got. We'll touch it on another day. We ain't got time now. But what I'm worried about is that we're not getting players out. We're not shifting players. We've still got a lot of dead wood at this football club, and we're just papering over with new signings, and that can't continue. It can't continue, because eventually we could end up like sort of Aston Villa, where we can't sign anyone. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But Aaron, Taryn, the chat, thank you all very much. All legends, thank you very much for joining me on another session of the Sunday Sit Back. It's the type of show where we waffle on, have a little chat, get your cup of tea and your coffee in, and your cocoa and your Horlicks and your cookies and whatever you want to eat. And we have a little sit back and see. And it's Monday morning. All have a good week, fellas. And we're gone. Thank you very much.
Peace.